All right, so a little technical difficulty today. This thing didn't record for whatever reason again. However, probably get a better visual of the stuff that's happening here. A little very quick recap of what's happening today. The warm up, a 12-minute EMOM, so that's every minute on the minute. We're going to do one of these three things alternating. So we start minute 1 with presses, minute 2 with the jumping box step ups, minute 3 with the 30-second plank. I'll go through all these, but it's 1, 2, 3, then back to the top for minute 4, 5, 6, 79, 10, 11, 12. You guys get it. What do these movements look like? Moving back the screen. The presses are here. Just going straight up overhead, making sure that we get biceps to ears, making sure that those ribs don't push upward, and just keeping and maintaining this nice overhead pressing position. 5 on one side, 5 on the other. Then the luxury of this warm-up is that then you break the rest of the minute. So if that only takes you 10 seconds, you get 50 seconds to just kind of chill. At the start of minute 2, you start these jumping step-ups, which, if you are lucky enough to have this pretty sweet stack of plates or something otherwise like a box or something nice and sturdy, they look like this. Just like that. Now, obviously, not all of us are going to have that luxury, and some of us are going to be using chairs, and chairs that may not have the strength to hold a 200-pound man flopping down on top of it. So you can go down to this next. Again, you should be alternating, like that. And if that's not going to work, then just do normal step-ups. Safety first, explosion of the hip second is what we're going for. And then in the 3rd minute, 6th minute, 9th minute, 12th minute, you will do 30 seconds in a plank, making sure that that's a nice stack from here down, that we're not sliding up ahead, that we're not pushing over, we've got straight lines, and that our hips are pretty neutral. We don't want to be piked up, but we don't want to be dragging down either. Nice and straight right here like this. So those are the movements in the warm-up. Once again, to recap, what you'll want to do is do minute 1, minute 2, minute 3, alternating through those movements. Minute 4, you come back up to those presses again, and then go minute 5, jumping step-ups, minute 6, 30-second plank. I think I've over-explained that enough at this point. So mobility today, we did some good mornings. On these good mornings, making sure that we're hip width with our feet, and making sure that our feet are nice and straight. So I've kind of made some discovery working on some of my own mobility stuff in this opportunity that we have to be stuck at home, that I have a real tendency to look like this. And I will never criticize anyone for looking like this in a squat. I definitely do it. But I think that it's actually a little more natural than being squared off. But for purposes of flexibility, make sure that these guys are straightforward, right? Because when we're doing our good mornings, we really want the hips to be a big active part of this. So by putting them here, you'll start to feel a little bit of strain on those hips, which kind of shows you that maybe you have a real tendency to push outward. So make sure that you're nice and squared off here. And then to adequately do a good morning, square it up, pushing the hips straight back, back, back. I'm going to get to the end of my screen here because I'm trying to make that point. That's where we want to be, right? We don't want to be bending over and touching our toes, right? Because look what happens when that happens. My back just goes like that. I don't want to be where my knees start to bend. I just want to have soft knees, and I want the hips to go back, 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 until they say, oh, that's all we got, and then stand back up. So it's slow going down, finding that nice long range, coming back up. Then we're going to do 10 forward. Then we're going to tilt that to the side. Again, same thing applies. My feet are going to be pointing straight. My hips are still going to be pointing straight. What a lot of us kind of struggle with is when it comes time to hit the opposite sides of this, we go like this, right? Which we don't want to do. This isn't going to be an adequate good morning because those hips aren't going to retract back the way that we want them to. So what we want to do at the next point is just turn that trunk, still pointing forward with my hips. And from here, still pushing the hips back as far as possible, right? This should put a lot more emphasis on this hip, right? And that's what we're trying to do. Getting from the side view, from here, turning just like that. And we do 10 in that direction and 10 in the opposite direction. Okay, so it's 10 in front, 10 to the left, 10 to the right. And that's what your mobility assignment is for today. Then, the main events. Bring in to see the whiteboard first. The main event's a bit of a monster. So this is 10 rounds, 30 double unders, 10 alternating cleans, 10 box jumps, and 10 sit-ups. That's a lot of volume. We did a capping class of 22 minutes. Most people made it, but I think the people that were more on the RX side actually struggled and were more in the 20 to 24 minute range, again, because of what we have at our disposal. I don't know that I would do this RX in under 20 minutes. I'm not strong at any of these things. I'm very, very slow down here. But if you cap out around that time, it's a good amount of work. We don't want to overwork as well. So what do those movements look like? With double unders, if you've got a jump rope with the clearance to do it, then we're just talking about double under jump rope. In the online class, and for purposes right now, I watched the Dan Bailey video before doing the fundraiser WOD part 2, which I probably had the best double unders I've ever had in my life. And a lot of what he was focusing on is that, we know from what we talked about in class that we want to have nice long arms so that we're not pulling up, we're not pulling out, we're not shortening that rope, which then necessitates this huge jump that's hard to coordinate. And what he said is that instead of being here, which we already kind of know and accept, be more here. And I do say this a lot in class too, that I want you to be like this in-pocket jazz drummer, like. But yeah, I don't know if I listened to my own lesson enough. Finally hearing Dan Bailey say it. But you should be kind of out in front. And what that did for me is bringing me out in front. I didn't have to jump as high. And I started to feel fatigue here before I felt it down there, which is for me is kind of amazing because that's where I'm usually pretty rough, is on my lower legs. But I was able to just kind of bounce and keep that rhythm throughout. I didn't trip up at all. I took breaks, but I didn't trip up. So definitely you want to be here. You want your feet as close together as possible at the toe, and you want to make sure that you're just bounding off of that foot while rotating just in the wrist and eliminating any of this stuff that starts to happen and this stuff that starts to happen, and obviously getting behind yourself as well. So quick double under ramp. The alternating cleans, we prefer to have a kettlebell for these guys, at which point we don't have to take a kettlebell back down to the earth. We can just swing between our legs, bring it up to the shoulder. Alternating, you can pop the switch hands, just a little safer that way. So if you had a kettlebell doing that, if you are dumbbell, like myself, bring it back down to the ground, come here, switch sides, like that. And you're doing those 10, so 5 and 5. Make sure that this is a very core-driven bit of work here. We don't want it to be a stand-up and a curl, right? We did curls. We don't want to do any more curls. We do them like once a year. So make sure we're standing up violently and just letting that kind of turn over. So that's like a big pop and then a turnover, right? That's how we want to be moving this weight. I know a lot of us are working with lighter weights, but we want to be able to move like hundreds with that because we're using enough hip to do it. If you've got a bag, if you've got whatever, just make the adjustment to alternate. Put it down to the ground, pick it up. Put it down to the ground, pick it up. Go through those movements. Then box jumps. Again, it's going to depend on what you've got at your disposal. If you've got something safe and sturdy, by all means, jumping, standing up all the way at the top before coming down. You can either bound down or step down, your choice. That thing just blanked out of me again. Going down to step ups, if that's what we need. Realistically, though, guys, when it comes to what you're jumping on, I would rather see you have like a 3-inch thing to jump to than a 40-inch thing to step to, right? Because today we want to do jumps. So if you've only got like one 15-pound plate, jump on it. If you've only got, it's sturdy. If you don't have anything that's sturdy to jump on, then you can go ahead and just switch over to something taller that you can step on. And then sit-ups. Sit-ups are something you can't see right now. Ooh. Sit-ups are your feet together right here. We make sure that we reach back, we touch the ground up overhead, and then we come back and we touch our ankles in the front. Make sure that you maintain tension in your midline, because what you don't want to have happen is that on every rep, you bottom out, you lose this tension here, and you have to reinitiate every single time, because that's it's 100 sit-ups. It's gonna be get you. So those are all the movements that are involved with today. Again, sorry you guys didn't get to see the fun interaction of it all. But to review, I don't know why this is like foggier than it is when I've got just myself on the screen. The warm-up, 12-minute EMOM, minute 1, minute 2, minute 3. That's press, jumping step-ups, 30-second planks. And then 10 rounds in the main event after your mobility good mornings, 30 double unders, 10 alternating cleans, 10 box jumps, 10 sit-ups. What I advise some people to do as a cool down afterwards was to either get a little bit of calf to the wall or do some couch stretching. So having said that, great job, guys. Enjoy your fitness. Count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And take 2 is over. Hopefully this one saves.